We're about to present a video to you that shows a large variety of aspects from the best tools to use, the trim pieces, panels with bends, installation tips. We're going to spend a little time with knee walls and pony walls and the 4 or 5 options that we have for you to complete a project with a knee wall. We're going to start this video with different ways to cut your panels. One of the great features of the product is the ability to virtually do an entire job with just a razor knife and the score and snap. And sometimes it takes 2 or 3 passes to get deep enough but it's pretty easy right there. My favorite way of cutting the material is using a jigsaw, and I like a real fine finished blade. That's actually a metal blade, and this is very fine, and it does a great job. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to cut this. Now, as good as you are with a knife or a jigsaw, sometimes it takes a little fine tuning. And probably my favorite tool that I take on the job is a power plane. Especially if, let's say, your wall has a little bit of a wow in it, and you just need to take just a little bit more off, just a little bit off. It's easier to use a power plane than a knife or a jigsaw. Because you can take off just a 64th of an inch. And it's very clean. So if you feel the need to fine tune your wall panel, this is the tool, because it's got an adjustment. You can take more off or less. And I think it's a lot easier using that than trying to take just a little bit off with your knife. Besides that, it's much safer with that. Now, sometimes you're going to find you've got a little bit of a rough edge that will cause, and I always like to have a clever cutter, and it cleans up that edge just beautifully, perfectly smooth, so that when your wall panels touch, it's a perfect joint for silicone. One of the most important ones is a router with a 1/2 inch V bit. I don't know if you can see that well, but in order to bend the Sentrel material, it's necessary to have a V groove. So I'm going to show you that right now. So with that V groove, you can then apply heat and you can bend this. Another tool that I absolutely insist on having on the job site is a heat gun. It serves a lot of purposes. If for some reason you need to score or V a panel, and then you'll be able to heat it and bend it. And I'll show you that in 1 second. But I want to show you one other purpose for the heat gun. And I like this right here because it kind of channels the hot air down into the groove. But let's say that you accidentally dent a panel. Now you got to be very careful with this. You don't want to just hold it on there at close range, but your target is to just kind of provide a little heat. The backer board has a memory, and with a little heat, it begins to expand and pop itself back to its original state. These dents are virtually gone. It doesn't take much, and you want to be careful. You don't want to lock over that and meld it, because you can. How's that? Virtually gone. Okay? Another great use for the heat gun, obviously, is performing bends. So you've run your 1/2 inch V bit, and now you want to heat this V. You want to heat it till it becomes a little bit pliable. It'll kind of start to go a golden brown, and in a few minutes we're going to walk over to a cow rod. So anything longer than a couple of feet, you're going to want to have a cow rod or a heating wire on the job. Okay, did you see that start to go? There you go. Now you hold that in place for about a minute and it will stay put. When that cools, it'll become rigid. That took about 45 seconds, and it's still a little bit warm, but it's very strong now, and it's a beautiful edge. Okay, this is the cow rod, or a lot of people call it a heating tray, and it's very light. This goes out onto the job site, and it's durable. The cow rod itself is about 1/4 inch thick, and it just plugs in to your standard 110, and it heats up in about 5 minutes. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to cool, but this is handy. And I've just built this little box for it so I can transport it. But this is very important to have, whether it's in your shop or in the field. This is the V-groove that we put in just a few minutes ago with the router, and we've stepped over to the heating tray, or the bending wire, the heating wire, the cow rod, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of installers insist that this is out in the field with them. A lot will just have it at home or back in the shop and pre-build some specialty parts. But as opposed to the heat gun, this is really quick because it's isolated and directed right in to that V. So let's just show you how this goes. We're gonna set it directly over the cow rod, and I have a timer that only goes about 25 to 30 seconds, and that's all that's required. You can actually start. It's already starting to move, becoming pliable. And if you've got something in the shop, like a good square 2x4, or even a wall for that matter, You pull it off and it bends. And just like the other piece I was showing you, let it cool for about a minute. Here in the shop, we're fortunate that we've got some air. And there's your piece. We'll show you later, but this can be a tub skirt. You can bend around corners, but that's pretty solid. All told, it was about maybe 60 seconds, 30 to V it, and 30 more to heat and bend it. So it's very quick. If you happen on a job, on a project, where the back wall is over 60 inches wide, you have a couple of options. You can have a panel here and a panel here with a vertical seam strip, generally 3 inches. My favorite way of doing it, especially if you've got to go tall, like over 9 feet, is to take a panel and tilt it this direction. That way you can span full 96 inches if you have to. And so then you would stack this panel and this panel. Now your seam is going horizontally, and this is where a variety of accent bands come in. We have 5 or 6 different styles. So if you happen to have a real tall shower or an extra wide back wall, turning this direction is a great way to go. And all of our panels can be made in landscape pattern, because we've probably got about 5 panels, 5 colors, that the orientation is up and down. But if you're going to do this, you can request a landscape panel that'll go like this, but yet the orientation is right where you want it. So I really like that one. It looks like it's well planned. These accent strips are really nice. We have quite a variety of panels to choose from. Our panels start 60 inches by 96, and we have a lot of sizes from 60 to 80, from 36 to 80. We have one that is 38 wide, and we put a groove for you at the 2-inch mark. Now we're not going to bend it because we want to be able to ship it without incident. So you can choose, if you don't want to use trims, you can order side panels and bend them Let's say that you don't want to use the trim, but you like the chunky look. You can order this, you can bend it, and you can trim it to the size that you need. We have an awful lot of installers that use dent shield as their substrate, and they'll just tack one more layer of dent shield or hardybacker on the wall, and now there's the wall with that nice chunky bend on it. I really like this. Me personally, I've always loved the trim. When I was very first introduced to it, I thought, I don't want to do trim. That's just another It's just another step that's going to take me longer. When in reality, it was faster. I was lots faster with the trim. So I think the reason that I really like the trim is because I could slap this on a sidewall and I wasn't worried if this was perfectly plumb, because now the trim goes over it and I can move it in and out according to my needs. If I need to move it out just a little bit to hit the end of the wall, or I can plumb it. I can plumb this a lot easier than I can plumb that. So you have your options: panels and use trims going all the way around your alcove, or go in that direction right there. So it's your choice, and we have kind of a 50-50 split of installers that have done this for years, and they're sticking with it. We've had an awful lot of people that were like me, a little cautious of the trim, but once they started it and loved it, it's fast and it's easy, and they'll run it from floor to ceiling and plumb the trim, and they're done. We also offer a polyurethane adhesive, and in my opinion, it's the best adhesive out there. It won't skin over, and it's got wonderful initial grab, or green strength, which is initial tack. I've actually put a 5-foot by 8-foot panel on the ceiling using this, and I don't need to brace it. It's got wonderful grab. It's called Performance Pro, and we offer it either in cartridge or in sausage. Economically speaking, this is the way to go. This is 20-ounce sausages as opposed to 10-ounce cartridges. And the coverage, that right there is a little over 20 square feet, and that is one sausage. So I like to do dots about the size of a Hershey's Kiss, about every 3 to 4 inches. And when flattened out, it covers almost 100%, but not quite. And the reason that you don't want full coverage, there are an awful lot of people that want to know if they want to trowel it on. The answer is no, because the polyurethane needs air, needs moisture from the air to cure it. So when this flattens out, it's not going to be one solid coverage of the adhesive. It's going to be perfect amount, and you're going to get a little over 20 square feet per sausage. Now, one thing that you don't want to do is put this over your entire wall and then put a perimeter seal all the way around it. All that's going to do is keep the interior from curing, and I promise it'll take 3 weeks for it to cure, as opposed to this right here, tacked in place, pounded in place. It'll be cured within a day and a half. Now, not only the adhesives, we carry a variety of silicones. We have trans white, trans brown, trans beige, solid white. We don't have clear. I've tried clear in the past, and I don't like it near as well as I like the trans color. The trans is translucent, so it's kind of a opaque, and it blends. We have a description for use for all of our silicones, which images it goes best with, and it will blend your inside corners. So wherever there's a seam, whether it meets your tub, your base, your inside seams, the trans colors are wonderful. Now, of course, if you're going a solid white, then obviously it's solid white is your choice. This hides any imperfections of your seams. So I love our trans colored silicones. One of my favorite parts of Sentrel is the versatility of the trims. Now we have a huge variety of trims. This is a windowsill trim, so I'm going to kind of hold it up so you can see it. Finished on the bottom, and I believe it comes 6 inches wide, but you can request however deep that you want it if you've got a special case where your deck is a little bit deeper. 3-inch trim, that's finished. That is not. That means that you can cut this off to the depth that you need. We also have a dedicated standard trim that's wide enough just to cover the panel. We have a seam strip. That's a finished edge here and a finished edge here. This one in particular is 3 inches. We have them in 6-inch size. And we have an inside corner that is, you have a V on the back here, and heat will bend it. And that's your inside corner, a vertical inside seam that you're not really satisfied with the cuts. You can hide an awful lot with that, and there are a lot of homeowners that want the additional safety and insurance of water protection with that in the corner. And if you're trying to wrap a corner, you can wrap a corner with that. It'll not only cover the panel, but it'll turn a corner and finish right there. But if you're going to do that, I would suggest that you get the 3-inch by 3-inch, because if you're going to turn a corner, you'll want this trim to match the rest of your project, so it's not out of balance. This is fine for a lot of projects, but if you want balance, I like this 3-inch by 3-inch. There's quite a variety of trims available, and all of these trims, with the exception of that, can be made on the job site out of that piece right there. You can make regular trim. If you happen to have a spare trim that size and you need a standard size trim, all you need to do is cut that down. If you need a seam strip, then you cut it off flush. If you need to make an inside corner or an outside corner, you'll cut a V, as we talked about, and heat it and bend it either to an inside or an outside corner. This cutaway display shows an awful lot of features. For example, the very first thing, this is dent shield. Now, you can use hardy backer board, green board. The reason that this is dent shield is in our area here in Utah, the requirement is for code is the use of dent shield. So it's a great product. It's a little bit pricey, but it's a fantastic product. And right back here is an inside corner reinforcement. Now this is more than anything, it's a vinyl tile tape. A lot of our dealers prefer this 1 inch by 1 inch plastic backer right here. It comes in 96 inches long, and I believe this is probably the most popular backer for our dealers. So as you can see here, our trims are 3 inches long, so you have the ability to move in and out, accordingly. If you need to slide it over here, you can wrap it around the tub or the shower base, but you have an awful lot of flexibility. And the same on top. You can move it up or down according to your need. So let's talk about our shelves here. This is a 2-part shelf, and you're going to receive the frame, the bracket, just like that. It's got pre-drilled holes where this will go into the corner, and it gives you the freedom of driving the screws in there. Then this arm will bend over, and then this tab bends over like that, just like that. Now, I really like using a self-tapping screw to lock that arm in place. And once you have that, then this clamshell will go right over the top of it. And if it fits, it's tight. If it's loose, then a simple Sharpie following the angle of your out of square wall, and then that will allow you to cut it according to the angle. And again, either a jigsaw or a power plane will get this to fit perfectly and locked in there. Whether it's 1 or 2 and 2, it's up to you. These are the most popular accessory. Another one that I really like is the recessed caddy. We have 2 sizes. This is an 11 by 11 inside measurement. We also have one that, I think it's probably about 20 inches tall now with a shelf. It's not quite this wide, but it fits nicely in between the studs. Each one of these caddies has an integrated plastic liner in it for waterproofing. And so all you need to do is pull it out of the box and apply adhesive, as you will see here in just a moment, and put it in place. Now, in the way of prep, I like to at least put a bottom plate in between the studs just for this to rest on. We also have a stainless steel caddy. It might be 30 inches tall with a couple of shelves in it, and another one that's about the same size. And we have a training video on that one that's entirely separate of what we're doing here. As you can see, this plastic liner comes clear up and tucks underneath the lip of the caddy, and I like to put adhesive at least down here, and if you can, against one stud. But it's locked in there, and it's tight, and it's It's waterproof. You will receive this unsiliconed. So as you are siliconing your entire project, don't forget to silicone these seams in here on this side. If you're ever in a project where this outside wall is not good and you want to cover it up, you can replace this trim with this double edge trim, and it's a complete corner wrap. That way you still get this look and match your look all the way around, but you're also able to go clear out in here and hide any imperfections in the sheetrock wall, whether it's over here or over there. This 3" by 3" outside corner is a wonderful thing to have on hand for most projects. Okay, good. Next, I'm going to show you a sample that we have here. This kind of shows the entire makeup of how Sentrel is best installed. As you can see here, this is that inside corner, the plastic inside corner that we like. This is on Hardybacker. This is a great sample for your sales kits, and I like the Hardybacker simply because it's cleaner and it has a great sound to it. And like we talked about earlier, I like the dots, and this shows how easy this is installed. And again, it's a cutaway just for show, but it's the sound that makes a difference to the homeowner. And again, this 3" trim goes all the way around your project, or if you want to butt the back wall or the walls up to the ceiling, you're only worrying about the 2 vertical outside corners. But this is a great sample to have in your arsenal. Here we are in the showroom. We've got 4 small displays or vignettes that each carry a different feature to each of the showers. And not one in particular is more popular, but we're going to talk about different options and different ways to do things. We're going to start in this shower right here. Okay, this particular shower is a basic alcove that, as you can see, we've just taken the panels right up and cut it right next to the ceiling. It's a nice clean look. This also has one of our new shower benches that we offer, and we do have a training video on that as well. As you can see, we have the standard 3" trim that goes from floor to ceiling. Okay, this is a basic tub surround. This has a couple of different features that you want to pay attention to. First one is it's a ceiling panel, and the misconception is that it's heavy and it's going to fall down. It won't. With our adhesive that has tremendous green strength, that ceiling panel will stay right up there without any problem. And we've decided to trim it with a standard 3" trim because it looks balanced. If you choose, you can put a simple finished edge on that if that's what you'd like to do. I like the trim look because it ties it in with the verticals. This also has a window trim kit. So this has the window pieces, and your kit will come with 4 rosettes, and it makes for very easy and fast window install. This here is probably only about a 3 or 4" bottom plate, but we can make that as wide as you need. Some basements for example, might go back 14 or 15 inches, and we're happy to do that for you. One feature I really like about this, a lot of soaker tubs, it doesn't come with a standard skirt, and so you might have to build it, because this is nothing but framework, and it gives the plumber option and the ability to get in behind and work his magic with jets and pumps. And then we have to finish this. And this looks like a real nice chunk of granite. This skirt panel is really easy to make. All it requires is a V-groove using the V-bit and the router. Just carve yourself a groove right there, and then you can heat it and bend it, whether you heat it with your cow rod or a heat gun, and once it's bent and cools, it will retain that shape. So there's your lip, and you can make any size of width of a lip that you need according to the framework of your skirt. If the framework on your skirt calls for a finished edge, you'll just trim that off right there and eliminate the lip, giving you a perfectly finished edge in case there is no lip. And that way this will rest right up against the tub as a nice finished edge. And a lot of installers like this because down the road a plumber might need access in, and so instead of gluing this in tight, in the past I have used Velcro and attached this skirt here to the framework and silicone it. If down the road you have a problem with the jets or the lines or the pumps, you can easily cut the silicone out and remove this. It's a giant access panel. It's a nice feature to have for problems down the road if that's what you'd like. This shower here is a little different than the last one. It too has the ceiling panel, but on this one we've decided to use the trim to go all the way around the top. A lot of homeowners like that look of trim all the way around, and that's an easy install. It really is. You don't have to get it quite so tight up to the ceiling. Heck, you can cut it up to within an inch and then just put your trim all the way around. And on this one, if you've noticed that this is a wider lip trim. Our standard just gently covers the panel, but one of our trims is a 3-inch trim with a 2-inch lip that you're able to cut down according to your needs. And there are some times that you tear it into a project and for some reason you have to fur out walls for reasons unknown, and you might need a wider lip trim. So it's nice to have that in your package as well. And this also has a recessed caddy. Here's the caddy with the shelf. All right, let's talk about the installation of trims. A lot of installers like to just put the adhesive on and put it in place, and then to hold it in place so gravity doesn't pull it down, they'll use blue painter's tape to hold it up there. Me personally, I like to use double-faced tape along with the adhesive, because that way when I put it in place, it stays. And it'll stay there until the adhesive cures. So I like to have a roll of double-faced tape. Okay, and this shower has a couple additional features as well. First of all, this one does not go up to the ceiling, but yet it turns the corner and trims all the way around. Another feature of this shower is a double threshold shower base. And we definitely make those here. That is a custom base. And the wonderful thing about our bases is we can adapt the shower base to most any shower configuration footprint that you have. And you can indicate to us exactly where you want the drain, and we'll put it wherever on that floor you have to have it. Some projects are restricted with floor joist and things, and so you're kind of restricted as to where you can put your drain. We can put that drain wherever you want. As you can see, this is a sim tile look, and it is so it looks so real because we've shaded one partial edge of the grout line, and we always indicate which way is up, and you'll want to follow that religiously because you want the effect of a little shadow on the top edge of that grout line. And the wainscot, if that's what you like. Occasionally you may end up with a project that has a knee wall, a pony wall, a half wall, whatever you want to call it, and then we're going to have to decide how to wrap it. We've got about 4 or 5 different ways that you can do this, that you can tackle this project, and they're all pretty easy, really. Let me show you a couple of slick ways to do this, and you can choose what works best for you. A couple of the methods include having us build your top cap. You should be able to do this without any problem, but sometimes the top cap is a problem. But let's show you a couple of ways. The first thing you're going to need to know is the width of your cap, of your wall, because you're going to have to wrap it. So most walls are 4.5 inches. That's with framing and wallboard. And so if you've got 4.5 inches, what you're going to want to do is put V's 5 inches from center to center. So you've got 4.5 inches and add at 1/2 inch. So center to center is 5 inches, so that when that is wrapped, the inside measurement is at 4.5, and we'll wrap this post perfectly. So if you have your V's in the right place, you can heat it on the cow rod or a heat gun and bend it so that it looks just like this. That looks just like a solid piece of granite. It's beautiful. So now we've got to do the top. And again, there are a few ways that we can do this. Our objective is a cap piece just like this. That's going to go over like that. Now, to accomplish this, again, you're going to have to figure out how wide and make your V's in the right spot. 5 inches center to center. And the fact we're going to wrap the front means you're going to have to do the exact same thing on this edge here. And as you can see, you got squares here, here, and you're going to want to cut those out because you're going to be bending all of these to create that. And you're going to have a nice cap. Now, what you'll be doing is using a basic seam strip that we offer. Comes in 96 inches, and you can miter and attach just like that. So now you have a nice flat half wall for your glass. So this is one way, but you're always going to have to wrap this. All right, another way of doing it is to build this same wrap, and you can now choose a cap that goes over the top of that, and that's done. However, in order to do it, you're going to have to finish the bottoms. And we specialize in creating these caps for you. So what we're going to need from you is the width, the inside width of your finished product. Now, again, we've got 4.5 inches, and if you're going to wrap this entirety in Sentrel, then there's going to be another 1/2 inch. So we're going to need to know the overall width of this, so that we here can make this for you, pull it out of the box, and after you have put that piece in, there it is right there. That's finished. That's a beautiful cap. It looks like a solid, chunky piece of granite. Another method of building a knee wall system or a pony wall system is to build 2 of these. And this is an easy build by creating V's here and here and cutting out that corner with your blade, and you heat it and bend it, and you create that, which goes on a mirror of this side. So there it is, just like that. And the finish cap is a basic DG or a double bullnose, where that's finished on that side and that side, where you take the measurement width, add 1 inch, and put your V's, your V grooves at 1/2 inch, and you bend it, and then a nice miter right here gets you a beautiful finished product. Another popular method is very simple: 3 panels, the sides and the face, 3 individual panels, and then this very same cap that we'll build here, or if you want to try it, you can build it. This will go on, and then you put your 1.5 by 1.5 inch outside corners around here to hide those seams, and that's easy. That's probably the fastest way, but everyone has their own style, and of those 4, you just take your pick which works best for your project. As always, you're welcome to call in and ask any questions at any time. A number of us here have pretty well most of the answers, and if we don't, we'll research it and find out for you. But just always remember to call in if you have any questions. It's easier to call in and ask a question rather than wish that you had. Thank you.